a dream that's found within the latter chapters of the book of Isaiah. Rather lengthy and a little bit detailed, but it's fairly vivid too. Chapter 65. For I am about to create new heavens and a new earth. Former things shall not be remembered or come to mind. But be glad and rejoice forever in what I am creating. For I am about to create Jerusalem as a joy and its people as a delight. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and delight in my people. No more shall the sound of weeping be heard in it, or the cry of distress. No more shall there be in it an infant that lives but a few days, or an old person who does not live out a lifetime. For one who dies at 100 years will be considered a youth, and one who falls short of 100 will be considered accursed. They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For like the days of a tree shall the days of my people be, and my chosen shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bear children for calamity, for they shall be offspring blessed by the Lord, and their descendants as well. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together. The lion shall eat straw like the ox, but the serpent, its food shall be dust. They shall not hurt or destroy on all my holy mountain, says the Lord. So ends the reading of God's holy word.
Thanks be to God.
Let us pray. Oh God, what a splendid dream that Isaiah has offered to us. This prophet of old. Prophet of old, and yet a dream so needed today. We ask that as we listen to it, we allow it to sink into our consciousness and not to push it away as something unrealistic or foolish. And as we allow that dream, your dream, to sink into our being, enable us as well to help bring it to fruition. This we ask in your holy name. Amen. Hold on. Had to get my prop. Every once in a while, probably it's every several months, I get a large envelope in the mail from the St. Joseph's Indian School. It makes my day. It really does. Because I'm thrilled to find inside the envelope each time, almost each time, a brand new ballpoint pen. Doesn't take much. Pretty easy to please. I love getting pens in the mail because I burn through pens pretty quickly. Some people call me an inkaholic. But inside that big envelope, along with a pen, they sometimes include a little device called a dream catcher. I'm sure we've all seen them. Little circular webbed creations that I read up on a little bit. Originally, I guess they were from the Ojibwe culture, Native Americans. And they're intended to snag the bad dreams and let the good ones go through to the sleeper. I love the idea. But in all honesty, I gotta tell you, I believe the dream catchers from the St. Joseph Indian School are entirely inadequate. They're way too small. I have nothing against little dreams. In fact, we sometimes sing about dreaming a little dream. And we will again in a few minutes. But if I'm going to get a dream catcher, I want to go big or go home. I want to catch all the bad dreams and let all the really big, good dreams go through to make it to you and me. But I'm a realistic person, and I realize that St. Joseph's Indian School is a 501c3 charity, and they probably have a relatively modest budget, so for them to FedEx me a dream catcher the size I'd want, which would be about like a garage door, would be prohibitive. But my point is, let's dream really big. Isaiah was dreaming very large, and it had to be big because the reality of his day was very bleak. I don't know, honestly, exactly what Israel looked like in the aftermath of the Babylonian captivity, but it wasn't pretty. Captivities, as a rule, do not improve a nation's curb appeal. Modern-day Syria and Yemen come to mind, captivated by war. And it seems as though the rougher the reality, the bigger we need to dream. Unfortunately, sometimes we do. At a time when America was deep into the Depression, with thousands out of work, the nation's breadbasket ravaged by the Dust Bowl, our collective mood in a tailspin, what should emerge from our imagination but Wizard of Oz? A technicolor rebuttal to all the depressing things of life. So that for at least a few moments we could all say, Toto, we're definitely not in Kansas anymore. And I got to tell you, just as a sideline, as a kid, for a period of time after seeing that movie the first time, I thought the entire state of Kansas lived in black and white. And I was so grateful to live in New York where we had color. MGM went all out in catching the big dream of Oz. But even as spectacular as that production was, it was still just a movie. But it was a start. And I think we need our dreams to leap off the silver screen and into our living room and into our lives. One of my pet peeves about movies is that they often characterize dreams as sort of wispy, ethereal kinds of scenes where people just sort of float around without not a whole lot of heft and substance. And I want to submit to you all that I think the best dreams, the best kind of dreams, are like a big furry Newfoundland. Solid, substantial, even a little pushy at times. We all know that dreams can, on occasion, intrude into our sleep. Intrude pretty fiercely sometimes. There's the old joke about the guy who dreamt he ate an enormous marshmallow, woke up and his pillow was gone. I don't want to think like that. But there are dreams that will barge right into our awareness in a big way, sometimes even wake us up. And hopefully our best dreams wake us up to the prodding and the poking of God. Sorts of dreams that don't allow us to lapse back into complacency or cynicism. Martin Luther King had a dream, we all knew that, but he wasn't the only one. Dreams keep coming. The question is, when they do come, do we listen? Because it can be hard to listen sometimes. Some dreams, like Dr. King's dreams, weren't necessarily welcome, at least not at the time. No matter whether they arrive in the middle of the night or in broad daylight. In fact, we often scoff at dreams, as though they're not worthy of our serious consideration. Dreams and those who dream them, the dreamers, are sometimes easily discounted. Well, right here in River City, no, in Bristol, our church is in the process of acting out a dream, or acting on a dream. A dream that started just as a little germ of an idea. And now it's turning into something so solid and so sturdy that kids will actually be able to play on it. That's a solid dream. And when you put that dream together with Dr. King's dream, now you got a nice new playground where kids of all colors can play together. And I think dreams have a way of building upon each other that way. For example, you say, hey, I got a couple of boxes of spaghetti. Somebody else says, you know what, there's a loaf of garlic bread I haven't done anything with. And a third person says, I got some Italian cookies. And the next thing you know, we have a high-carbo, low-stress church dinner straight out of the old country. And all we need is two more things. For Bob Green to come in and play some Sicilian love songs. For Mary Lynn to come down and show pictures. Dreams at their best sow seeds of joy, community, hope, possibility. But they only do that when they emerge from the vapors of our imaginations and they land right in our plates, in case of the impromptu dinner. And sometimes I think we need a little bit of a pep talk. It's helpful to remember the dreams that did exactly that came true. Maybe they looked a little flimsy at one point, but with hard work and persistence and determination, they became a part of our life. Dreams like, just to name them quickly, women voting. How many women are glad you vote? Okay. Oh, that's the man. Astronauts flying to the moon. The Iron Curtain coming down 30 years ago last week. Running a 2-hour marathon. Microwavable popcorn. Those dreams have become part of our reality, and so we probably don't dream so much about them anymore. But there's always more to dream about. This coffee mug. It's the one I carry to Starbucks when I want to siphon off some of her venti dark roast. It says, from Jim Wallace, from Sojourners, hope is believing in spite of the evidence and then watching the evidence change. A lot of dreams sound a little crazy at first, or suspicious, or impossible, or even irresponsible at first. Just to keep it local here, who would have thought some years ago that we could set aside thousands of acres of land in the Finger Lakes as forever preserved? Beautiful vistas, hillsides, lakefronts. Who would have believed that McDonald's would ever serve a meatless sandwich to benefit our cardiac health and our climate? Who would have ever foreseen the Chevy Volt electric car? I kind of wonder how Isaiah's dream was first received, sitting amidst all the rubble and the ruin of a decimated people. How could people even conceive of being glad and rejoicing as we hear? There must have been some scoffers. Those that said, be real, rejoice in the rubble, be glad to begin again. Hey, I want whatever you're smoking. Until somebody picked up one rock and started to rebuild. There's an old Asian proverb that goes something like this: the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or a rebuilt city begins with a single stone. Dreams can bless us in a couple of ways, two different ways. There's the blessing as a dream is completed, which is always very nice. There's also the blessing as a dream is being created. The very process of building a dream can actually get wolves and lambs working together. Or maybe even the donkeys and the elephants. I mean, God knows we need the donkeys and the elephants to work together. So the next time you see a little dream catcher, it comes in the mail, forget about the tangled web we weave. And think instead about the dreams that God is inviting us to weave. And to pull up one more quote, if the pen, that I got in the mail, is mightier than the sword, then a dream is even mightier than a pen. That's pretty mighty. Dream on.